Hi, welcome to Great Books, Big Ideas. I'm Jim. Time for another reading update. Friday reads for Friday, July 19th, 2024. Just thought it was time to update you all and myself on my progress here. So I've been reading this Chaucer in the 15th century, published by Oxford University Press, part of their Oxford History of English Literature. And this is by H.S. Bennett. I finished the Chaucer chapter, which closed out with talking about Canterbury Tales and some great literary history there. As I mentioned before on a previous video, this is a very well written book. It's a little dry, but I really like the prose style quite a bit. Now I'm in the chapter called The Author and His Public, and he's talking about other authors into the 15th century, like after Chaucer had passed away, and sort of explaining some of the cultural factors and the social factors that may have influenced the fact that there weren't a ton of remarkable English language writers after Chaucer in the 15th century. So we'll see what else Bennett has to say about this. So I'm like scraping into that chapter and making some mild progress with it. But it's definitely a book I think I'll finish, and it's a good literary history. Also in the sci-fi realm, this was a book I got at a high school book sale. I think that's right. No, I got it at a library sale on the main line in Pennsylvania. And it's in Stratford, Tredyffrin Township, their library. Stephen Baxter, Vacuum Diagrams. This is hard sci-fi. It's a lot of world building, epic saga of the universe and humankind's next 5 million years. So, it covers 5 million years in that much space. So basically what he's done here is he's strung together a bunch of stories. I think he wrote novels around this. He wrote a whole bunch of stuff. But basically this is sort of like in short story form with like linked short stories. He's telling like the arc of this overall storyline. And I'm getting near the end of it. I'm in the last major story, which is quite long, the longest story in the book. And it's hard sci-fi, so it's a lot of science, it's a lot of physics, it's explaining how things work. Not completely to my taste, but I am going to finish it. I'll reserve judgment until I get to the end of the book, but that's it. This is not going to be a keeper for sure, but I do want to finish it. I just can't seem to read more than, like a handful of pages at a time. So I wish I could have finished it by the time of this update. I'll probably finish it this weekend. But let me do some bedtime reading here. So I've got on my Kobo reader, Finnegans Wake. I've been reading. Call Me a Masochist. This is the second time reading Finnegans Wake after a few failed attempts to read Finnegans Wake. So I read Finnegans Wake by James Joyce, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago. I read it in one summer. The same summer that I finished Proust, I read Finnegans Wake. It was quite a productive reading summer. And I couldn't make heads or tails of Finnegans Wake. It's ridiculous. But after finishing James Joyce's Ulysses, the Gobbler edition in June, I finished it on Bloomsday, June 16th. I guess I was still in the mood for Joyce, and this is a bedtime reading, so like when I'm really trying to fall asleep and it's ready to like just kind of, I've read my other stuff and now I just really want to make sure I nod off. Finnegans Wake actually works pretty well for that. You read a few pages of that, makes your head spin, your eyes blur, and pretty much you're out. So having said that, this is like kind of a more enjoyable read through of Finnegans Wake than the first time, where I just sort of plowed through as best I can. So now I'm just reading it in like very small chunks, and it's a very funny book. It's absurdist. It's just every sentence has puns after puns in them, and there seems to be a shadow of a storyline there, but we'd have to read the criticism to figure out what's really going on. And that being said, I'm just letting it wash over me, and it's serving a function, which is to make me sleepy at night. So that's Finnegans Wake. It'll take me maybe about 15% of the way through it, which is a lot farther than I thought I would be. So why not continue to dip into it, and we'll see how long it takes me to do the second read through. But the main reading energy has been applied to Plutarch's Lives. Plutarch's Lives, I am actually getting pretty far through this. Let me update you on the biographies that I've finished in the last couple weeks. So I did read the Julius Caesar biography, followed by Phocion, Cato the Younger, Agis, Cleomenes, who were two leaders from Sparta, Tiberius Gracchus and Caius Gracchus, Roman leaders, and then Demosthenes, the great Greek orator. And I'm currently getting through Cicero, the great Roman orator. And sometimes Plutarch will compare these biographies, these Greek versus Roman lives. And I'm just thoroughly just immersed in Plutarch right now. I'm just sort of enjoying all his anecdotes that he's saying, and realizing there's actually more of a sense of humor in some of these storytelling than I maybe had noticed, like, months or years ago. It's taking me years to get through this, but I'm ready to make a final push. I have a lot of energy for it, and I'm probably going to do a video featuring Plutarch soon. I won't want to overcommit, but I've got the wheels are turning up here, and I have some ideas for just not a full review at all, but just like there's some things that I think are interesting about what I've been reading there. But yeah, really, just if you haven't read Plutarch, give him a chance. He's amazing. You can find these are the Dryden translations, and I guess these are pretty well renowned. But Penguin Classics, for instance, has several volumes of Plutarch's Lives. They split them up in some interesting ways. So they're out there. They're easy to find if you're looking to dip into Plutarch. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it for my reading. There's definitely some books that have gotten buried on the shelf that I'm trying to resurrect and dig out, and we'll see how it goes. But first of all, I got to get through Vacuum Diagrams. I just feel like this is just something that. Did you ever have a book that you sort of didn't want to finish, but you finished it anyway? That's this book. It's just kind of like. It's not awful. It's just I don't really. I'm not really getting a ton out of it, but I am curious enough to see how he finishes the book. It's sort of one of those books. So it will not be a do not finish. I will finish it, and I'm going to try to finish it soon. Once I get that out of the way, I think I'm going to get back into some other stuff that's been on the back burner, and that's pretty much it for my reading life in the last week or two. What have you been reading? Do you have any reactions to Stephen Baxter or Oxford's History of English Literature, Chaucer? That book made me want to go back to Chaucer, by the way, or especially Plutarch. Leave a comment. And if you're new to the channel, I hope you become a subscriber. Hit the notification bell so you'll know when new videos come out. Hope to see you sooner than later. Thanks for watching.